And it has seemed to be a theme of today, especially coming off of Melissa's session around being more outcome focused and outcome driven. So it sounds like you both have a good grasp on how to make decisions based on data, how to run an outcome driven product plan and organization. So did you have a kind of shift from being a feature factory, as some people call it, to being an outcome driven company? Or was that a kind of deliberate thing that happened, or just an evolution of your time as a product manager?
I think so you want to go.
You want to go, Dalia? I can go. That's fine. So it's a little bit of both. Again, it's the dialogue, right? You have this, when you're small, you have this valuable nut, right? That now has marketability, and you want to sell it, and you're getting feedback because you're listening to your users. You're getting, oh, you should do this with it, and you should do that with it, and then you have this tendency and this lure to become a feature factory, and you become a feature factory for a while, right? And you're like, oh, let's pack in this value and that value. We can increase our price and have different packages. You could do that. But then you fall into this feature factory mindset. And then at that point, you have to now push and bias towards data-driven feature development and say, okay, now we have all this stuff out there. What's actually valuable? What is it teaching us about our users?
Yeah.
Right? Like, did we launch 10 different features, but only like 3 of them are really used? Is that really what's happening? Let's look under the hood. And so I think that transformation happens, again, 2 planets, gravitational pull, right? As you grow, you get a little bit, you have those conversations again. Are these the right KPIs? Are we growing the right things? Whatever. And then you bake in the right feature. Very few, I think, organizations have the luxury to be measuring the right things from the beginning all the time, right? Oftentimes, 2 years into your product evolution, you realize, oh my God, we should measured this thing 2 years ago. It would have been awesome.
We should know if someone's using it.
You didn't think, it wasn't something you could think about, because all products have this sort of organic conversational nature to it and how they evolve. And that's why one of my perspectives and one of my favorite things about product is the fact that we have this role in an organization to have those conversations and constantly nudge and push folks in the right direction to make the right kind of decisions for the product. But yeah, it's definitely organic in nature. And maybe this year you have a conversation with some stakeholders, and next year you have the same conversation, but your stakeholders are different. Folks have moved on, different thinkers have come, new thought work has been done in that area, conferences have been done, people are learning different things, and now that conversation is completely different a year later. Maybe your product hasn't changed, but now people are thinking a little bit differently about it. I think that's valuable too. At the end of the day, I think to be a successful product manager, you have to have some level of passion for the thing you're doing, so that you can push yourself to the depths where no one else will want to go, right? And to get into the kinds of details that no one really wants to get into, but that are incredibly critical. And so I'm kind of riffing off topic here, but that part's incredibly important, especially if you're going to be the voice in your organization driving those conversations.
Yeah, to me, it was a little different. I'm going to be very honest. I was so excited that I was doing something outside of, the Navy and being behind 4 gray walls or on a ship, that I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I have something. I didn't care if people were using it or not. I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? I was just excited that I had something, that I had a product, that there was something called software and applications, and that there were, at this time it was corporates, right? The large companies that actually had the ability to have internet, that had it. And to me, right, having a bank who's for the first time going from the brick and mortar to actually having something online, it was huge. And as I moved up, right, and moved through different phases, I always had a leadership above, because when you're starting, you always have that senior product manager, or, in my time, the marketing specialist, whoever who's above, who's looking at those metrics, right, and taking the customer service info. Back then, we didn't have analytics like we have today. There was no Google. So you have, to speak with your customer service team, with your sales team, to actually know, you know, what's going on with the product, if people are using it or not, and then talk to some DBA guy who could pull, you know, a query to see if users were using it. So when I realized that that could be done, because I kind of got tired of going back and forth to customer service, I was like, there's got to be a spreadsheet. Like, I'm a spreadsheet person. And so I was like, if there is a spreadsheet out there, could one of you guys pull it out? Like, is that a thing that you do? And I remember one of those guys was like, yeah, I can run a JavaScript and do blah, 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 and create this thing for you. And that was my first admin portal. And that was my first time I'm seeing metrics, but I still didn't know what it meant. It was just a list of people. I remember when Google came out the first time and you're looking at Google Analytics for the first time, and that's all you have. Is a list of people with like weird GUIDs and what the hell is a GUID, right? And now you have people from all over the world, maybe because you couldn't control geolocation. And you're like, but what are they looking at? They got here so that they create an account. And as it evolved, right? I almost would say to anybody, go play with Google Analytics. Stand up something on your own. It ain't expensive. And play with it so that you can start realizing how people start using something no matter what you push. It could be your own portfolio and you can see metrics, right? And so little by little, when I started becoming more senior and I started seeing the money, and I was like, oh, we got to keep the lights on, right? Oh, I need Dragonboat subscriptions for my roadmap. Oh, I need, you know, all of these other cool tools. We had to start looking at, are we making money? Because the stakeholders will come back and say, I don't think that feature is worth it. We're not making enough money for it. And I was like, hold up. If we're not making enough money for it, then how do I account for it? How do I make money out of my own platform? And that started shifting my mindset from I'm having fun with something to, okay, I need to make money out of this, right? So it's been an evolution for me.
Yeah, I love that story. And it's interesting how the Navy and your experience there really shifted and formed your perspective on product management. We've talked a lot about different paths and how people get into their role today. I think you've got a pretty unique one. Not a lot can
I do. I'm not the only one though. I have other people out there who are cryptos, and you know, they're starting to come out and like reach out to me, and they're like, hey, I'm in tech as well, or I'm in sales tech, or I'm in this tech, right? Nobody truly realized you could actually continue from a BA and be a product manager. I don't know why. You know, some of them just went into the sales side. Some of them, I guess each person has a different path to follow.